So in this video, I'm going to share 7 reasons why your 360 videos aren't as good as you want them to be, and I'm going to show you how to fix them. So I'm going to be demonstrating today with the Insta360 X3 camera, which is my go-to 360 action camera at the minute. I absolutely love this camera. We're going to jump straight into this. I'm going to talk about making sure your lens is clean. So there's 2 of these massive 1/2-inch sensor lenses on this camera, and you'd be surprised at how easily these things can pick up dust and dirt and sand and all this stuff. Not only will that scratch your lenses, you'll also see little imperfections on your footage, no matter how clean they actually look visually just by looking at them. I would always recommend, before you use your camera, use a glasses rag or something that is real soft material that is made for cleaning lenses or glass or goggle lenses or anything like that. You could even use some alcohol spray just to make sure you are on the safe side of these things being 100% crystal clear. Second point is the bitrate setting on your camera. So inside this camera specifically, you have the option to switch between normal bitrate and high bitrate. If you switch to high bitrate, the camera will record in a much higher quality than normal bitrate, giving you a higher quality video just by simply changing something in your settings. To swipe down on top of your screen, go into the settings menu, and you can navigate to bitrate and just put it on high, and that's all you need to do. Third point is video sharpness. A lot of people seem to think that they get better video quality and better videos by setting the video sharpness at the highest level. I think that is a mistake. If you set your video sharpness to high, you'll notice that when you come to editing it and rewatching the video back, to me it doesn't look very realistic. It looks almost too sharp and too robotic. What I like to do is I like to put my video sharpness on the lowest setting, and then when I'm editing later on, I can actually introduce sharpness if I want to. The problem is you can't really take out sharpness of a video. You can add denoise to a video and you can make videos feel softer, but it's a very tricky process to do. It's not an easy process for a beginner. So I would set your sharpness to either medium or low. If you're doing any action sports or anything with motion involved, I would 100% set the sharpness to low. If you're doing some more of like a travel vlog, or you're walking around with your camera with a selfie stick, I would probably set it to medium sharpness. Fourth point is automatic versus manual settings. Okay, so this camera is really good when you put it in automatic settings. 9 times out of 10, I will shoot in 360 mode with 30 frames a second, 5.7K resolution, and I don't have to worry about anything in terms of settings. The camera does it all for me. Problem is though, if you want to get the max amount of this camera, depending on where you are shooting, you're going to need to know how to shoot on manual settings. So you need to know how ISO works, how shutter speed works, how aperture works, and how they work together to get the footage you want. And especially if you're shooting at night as well, you want to use manual settings, because the camera is really going to struggle, especially in changing light situations and low light environments. You want to know how these different functions of the camera work and how they work together, so you can optimally set up your camera to get the best video out of it and make sure you avoid your footage looking like crap. Fifth point is more for when you're using a selfie stick. So if you're using a selfie stick with the X3, it has the magic selfie stick. So you're not going to see any of the selfie stick. It's going to look like someone's following you, which is really cool. The problem a lot of people do is when they're holding the selfie stick, they have a habit of spinning the camera in their hands. And when it comes to editing, you will see the imperfection in the stitch line. So the stitch line is basically the point on the camera that the AI or the technology in the camera makes up, so you can't see that. It merges the 2 lenses together. But if you're constantly spinning your wrists around and this is all moving around, you're going to see that stitch line in your footage, and it's going to look a little bit iffy. I don't think you'll like it. So to avoid that, you want to make sure, or try at least, to hold your camera in a robotic way. Don't try and spin things and too much. Don't jerk the camera around. Don't spin the selfie stick in your wrist. Just try and keep things very steady, no matter where you're holding the selfie stick, whether you've got one of the extended poles or the 1 meter poles. Just try and keep a nice constant smooth motion, and you will avoid having that horrible blur in your stitch line. The camera will actually look genuinely really good. My 6th point on this is how to edit properly. Editing, I feel, is the biggest factor when it comes to creating good videos, because 360 cameras, you don't really need to point them at anything. You just literally turn them on, press record, and 9 times out of 10 the camera will catch anything that is going on, and then you can reframe it later to the shots that you want. And this is where it gets important. For me, the editing is the most important. And I use at the minute, to reframe my footage, I use Insta360's desktop studio app. I prefer using this over the mobile app because it gives me a little bit more flexibility. And I also like working and editing on a bigger screen because I just feel I can navigate around a lot better. And when you watch some of the videos on my channel about editing, you'll see exactly how my workflow looks, so you can literally follow along and you can learn how to edit great 360 videos too. But I feel the editing part is the most important. You should put some time and effort into learning how to edit your 360 videos. The mobile app is also really good as well if you want to edit on the go or you want to put something quick together for social media. You can create some really good stuff with just the power of your smartphone and Insta360's mobile app. 7th point is export settings. So export settings are what you decide to save your video as once you've reframed them in the mobile app or the desktop studio. This is going to be very important depending on where you want to use your video after you've exported it. So if you upload it to social media, there is a certain bitrate that I would recommend versus say if you were just watching it on a television for your own leisure. Social media platforms have like maximum bitrate settings built into them, so if you upload a higher bitrate to those platforms than the platform has, it will compress your video and crush your video down to a lower quality so it fits in with their standards. This is a bit of a nightmare because you can actually try and upload 4K footage, and sometimes on say Instagram it will come out looking really pixelated and not how it looks when you first shot it on your camera. So to avoid this, I would personally shoot for bitrate settings of between about 30 and 40 for Instagram and TikTok, maybe slightly higher for YouTube, but I wouldn't go any higher than say 80 megabytes bitrate for exporting. These cameras will record at a maximum of 120 megabytes bitrate, which is really high, but that's not to say that when you upload it to YouTube or other social media platforms, you're going to get that quality out of it. What we want to do is we want to try and find that sweet spot that your videos don't get compressed and the social media platforms accept it and share it in its highest quality. So those are my 7 tips for making sure that you can create the best video quality with your 360 camera and to make sure your footage doesn't suck, to be honest with you. If you've got any comments on 360 cameras or problems you're facing, drop them in the comments below and I'll give you an answer or I'll make a video for you. And if you want to get my exact settings that I use for my action camera, this is the action camera cheat sheet I have created here. It'll be in the description below to go and grab it. Hope it was useful. See you next video.